African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
It's beautiful people. This is Simon Javan Okello, and I'm really excited to be here with you for this amazing and special edition of the African Father in America podcast. We're coming to you live and direct from Victoria Sands Lodge, right by Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria is the largest lake in Africa, for those who don't know, and it's the second largest freshwater lake in the world. And I'm sitting with a wonderful leader. Her name is Lynn. Nzisa. She's a mover and shaker here in Kenya. She's an entrepreneur. So she'll share with us her story. She'll share with us her favorite African proverb, and what inspired her to do all this amazing work, and also to literally, change conversations when it comes to support systems for women in this country. Through the creation of Kilimani Moms, which is a truth-telling platform. And also she'll share with us just her passion for supporting women and how she's leading by example. She's not just talking, but we are sitting in a business, in a beautiful property that she runs. So she'll share with us tips. And also, we will talk about how you who are listening from Seattle or the rest of the world can also come and visit, come and see this beautiful view, and come and enjoy and support this business that is run by an amazing woman. Many of you talk about supporting businesses run by women, and this is a great opportunity for you to do that. But Lynn, I want you to first just quickly share with us your favorite African proverb and what it means in English.
My favorite African proverb is in my mother tongue, and it says, "Balando and that means that where you throw an enemy is not where they land." So basically, every time you try to progress or do something in life, there will always be haters, there will always be people trying to pull you back. But for me, I always believe that I treat obstacles as bridges. What makes an obstacle is what you do with it. So if you place a stone on my way, I'll use it as a stepping stone to my next destination. So it inspires me because I never let anything pull me down. And I've faced a lot of challenges, including online bullying, but I never let that break me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you repeat it in Kikamba, please?
Valando yekagwativo ivaluka. Where you throw an enemy is not where they land. You may be throwing them into a bad place, but they land into a better place, a different place.
Wow, and I love how you shared that, you turn your obstacles into your bridges, Yeah, that's extremely powerful. That's extremely powerful. I have this show on Clubhouse and also on YouTube. It's called the Daily African Proverbs, and every day I share an African proverb, from different parts of Africa, and I interview guests like you who share with us, proverbs from their community, because I love protecting and preserving African culture. And I just wanted to ask you, why is African proverbs important to you? Like, why did you remember this one?
Okay, when I was growing up, my dad, may rest in peace, he passed away 2 years ago, was a teacher. And he always liked to use a lot of proverbs, a lot of stories, a lot of examples. He would ask you questions, tuishi tule au tule tuishi, and then you'll be struggling to figure out whether you're eating to survive or surviving to eat. So it just got me interested in trying to look deeper into meaning of things.
Yeah, that's why I love African proverbs too. They allow you to think, Yeah, you can't just rush into situations. Well, now,
sitting here, I said yesterday that I have so much love and respect for you because what you've done is not easy. Not many people can do it. Not even groups of people can do the kind of stuff that you do.
Thank you.
And
African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African father, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan-Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you for your patience. This is Simon Javan-Okello again, and I'm here on Lake Victoria with the amazing Lynn Nzisa. Lynn Nzisa is, an amazing entrepreneur, and she's been sharing with us what inspired her, and really, in a moment, she was sharing with us how her dad was also instrumental in this story, and we lost power in that moment. Please carry on.
No, I think maybe we can.
Yeah, so I was asking you earlier to share with us how, as a little girl, paint for us a picture. Maybe take us to that place visually. That moment that you felt that one day I will be this, mover and shaker. I will be, I know that you are the founder of Kilimani Moms. I want us to talk about that in a moment.
Okay.
But I love asking, in the African Father in America podcast, I love asking my guests what inspired them when they were like 8 to 12, because that's when, for me, I got my inspiration. I grew up in Kisumu, in Manyata slum, and when I was 8 years old, my mother gave me a bicycle so that I could distribute milk and bread in our neighborhood, in the slum. And that was when I realized that, I could do anything. I was little, I was making my money, I had my bicycle, I felt so proud. I felt that I could own the world, and I ended up really making shopkeepers in an entire neighborhood my customers. I had more customers than many of the other salespeople that were distributing milk and bread, So by the time I was going to school, I was sometimes even paying a portion of my fees, So for me, I know that amazing entrepreneurs like you, amazing risk takers like you probably went through a similar experience, and I always want to go to that moment where your work was ignited and what it is that sparked that fire in you.
Okay. So for me, my parents, both of them are teachers. And of course, that in teaching profession, there are a lot of transfers. So we changed schools a lot when we were young, and we also used to, travel. Because my parents were teachers, initially they were posted away from both of their homes. So they had to go and establish a home in a different place. So every time schools closed, we would have to travel to go and visit our relatives. Some were in different places. So it's like I started traveling when I was young. And traveling, meeting different people, going to different hotels, even having the privilege to go to a restaurant maybe in Machakos Town and eat restaurant food. It's something that is not the ordinary thing that you do when you're growing up in the village. So I always wanted to be an entrepreneur at some point, that I'm able to set up a place where I can, see people come and enjoy, like kids coming for vacation, they swim, they eat. And the way I used to be excited, I never used to sleep. Like, for example, when we had a trip out of home. Yeah.
Wow. So then, I love that. The excitement of, just finding out that you're doing things that are not ordinary. Yeah. Wow.
Actually, because where we used to live, most of the other kids in the neighborhood had never left the village. So they always used to be curious when you travel, and when you come back, they would ask you to tell them stories of where you went. So it always meant you feel like you're the village champion, you're the one driving the conversations, because you know a lot more things than they do. So they always respected us for that as well.
Yeah. So I want to ask you a question that I ask all the guests that join me for the African Father in America podcast.
Yes.
And one of the, I think I swallowed a different kind of protein that is flying around. Now, one of the things that inspired the African Father in America podcast is there was a young Kenyan father in Vancouver. His name is Philip. He was, in the U.S. Navy, and then he retired. He was still young, but you can retire young in the U.S. Navy. And anyhow, long story short, he ended up committing suicide. He was my age. When Sauti Sol came to Seattle, like 5 years ago, he was the person who was doing filmmaking for me, and so it really shook me, and I realized that a lot of African fathers, not only him, who had mental health issues and was struggling, but there were others, especially in the diaspora, and you're someone who has also traveled around the diaspora. You understand how mental health challenges in the diaspora, we also have it here. We have people who are struggling, but I wanted you to imagine that you have a microphone, that all the young men hear you. I want you to advise young fathers like myself, just give them one tip that can help them become better men, because you're well positioned to respond to or to advise them, because you also started Kilimani Moms. I want you to just talk about the inspiration, and in a moment we'll talk about Kilimani Moms and the impact it has had in people's lives, but advise young fathers for now.
Okay, so what I would advise young fathers is, one, to focus on family. That family is important. That when all is said and done, and as we age, you realize the importance of having a close-knit family. And the other thing I would advise them is to avoid social media pressure or society pressure, because I do think, even myself, I traveled a lot when my kids were young. And for work, and sometimes I say I probably would do things differently now, because sometimes we push ourselves too much to achieve that we hardly find time to live, enjoy our life, and have time with our families. So long as you have enough to eat and drink, and you're happy and your family is happy, sometimes you don't have to push yourself that hard, especially if it is at the expense of spending quality time with your children and your family.
Wow, that's great advice. I hope all the young African fathers are listening. Now, talk to us about Kilimani Moms. It's a platform that I think is still relevant today. Just talk to us about, for those who are learning about it for the first time, what it is, and the impact it has had, and also whether you are going to create a similar platform in the future, because I feel like you're an amazing creator.
So Kilimani Moms was born around 2013, and initially it was meant to be, I was living in Kilimani that time, and my kids were young, and it was meant to be a platform where parents are able to share, just ask questions about any issues you have regarding your kids, and also marriage questions, share experiences. And it just grew to be a big social media platform, especially because women were able to open up. Initially it was a close group for women only, so women could come and share their issues and then get unbiased advice from people. But with time, as a group grew, also now people started bullying, people started exposing other people. So at some point, the vibe started drifting to what was not my vision for the group. And again, knowing Kenyans the way they are, Kenyans like to copy things. So by 2016, 2017, there are a lot of people went and created similar groups with similar names and started posting nasty things and doing very, very nasty things on social media that were not associated to what was my initial vision for the group. But because everybody knew that Lynn is the one who started Kilimani Moms, everything bad that was posted always got associated with me, even those posted outside my group.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. Well, I also think that it had a great impact on people's lives. Like there's this stay-at-home father that got a lot of advice from that group that helped him, raise his son. And talk to me about him.
Yeah, I remember him, Rob. What happened is that Kilimani Moms was meant to be a women's only group. But then this dad got in touch with me as admin and said, please, I'm a stay-home dad. So add me to the group. I would like to be able to benefit from what the women are saying, because whatever I'm doing is what you women do. So we accepted to add him in the group, and he was always there, active, participating in our conversation, updating us when he takes the kids to the clinic and everything else. Yeah.
Wow. Now, when I'm in Seattle, I live primarily in Seattle, but as I was sharing earlier, I was born and raised in Kisumu. And every year since 2010, when I moved there, and even before, I've been bringing guests to Mbita, to Kisumu, to the Mara. And, when I discovered that you are the owner of Victoria Sands Lodge, I was like, I have to partner with her, because I want, I've always looked for people that are in alignment with my vision for changing the narrative about Africa. Many people still think that Africa is just people live in villages, people have, wild animals everywhere, but people don't know that this beauty exists, People don't know that we have amazing women like you running wonderful businesses like this. So I want you to share with me two things. One, the story of how this whole started, and so that we can inspire other younger women who are watching this, so that they can be brave and they can be courageous like you, and they can pursue their dreams.
Okay, so basically, if I start, I'm not an hotelier by profession. I'm actually a lawyer, and I've worked for 20 years from when I left the university. About 10 of those years I worked in the government, into different institutions, and the nature of work I was doing involved a lot of traveling. In fact, I traveled the most when I worked with the government. I went all the way to Mexico, I went to the US, I went to the UK, I went to many places in Africa, and I spent a lot of time in hotels. And then from 2011, I got a job in the private sector. I'm a lawyer, but I specialize in intellectual property, specifically anti-counterfeiting. And so when I was working again in that job, it was a regional job. So it required me to travel to different countries in Africa, and sometimes to the UK and Scotland in the course of my work. And it was traveling for a week or two, not staying there for a long period of time, but most of my time I would be away more than at home. So I spend most of that time in hotels, and I think spending time in hotels is what gave me the desire to start in hotels. There are a lot of things I didn't like, there are things I liked, and so I told myself, how about as my retirement plan, I start an hotel, but I try as much as possible to eliminate the things that I saw that I didn't like, and give people a good experience. And I think when you look at our hotel, you look at our rooms, you look at our linen, our beds, the way we've done it, people keep on saying, oh, this looks 5-star. This looks international. We've not seen anything like this around. It embodies a lot of my traveling experience and, things I picked from so many different places that I consolidated to try and make a place that would give people a memorable experience, which I do think I've achieved.
You have.
We are only 2 years old. But we are one of the most talked about hotels in this region. We are a trendsetter.
Yeah, my youngest sister, her name is Lavender. She's the one who, insisted that we have to go there, And I've honestly, until 4 days ago, I'd never heard of, Victoria Sands Lodge. And so we came at night, we drove, we went through the rough road. I always love Mbita, and I've been coming here when there was no road, So I don't mind the rough road, but I was tired, so I was falling asleep, and I told my sister, this place is far, But when we arrived, when I saw the room, when I had the food, and when I met the manager, I was like, I will be coming here a lot, It's addictive.
Yes.
And how you treat people makes it very, very welcoming. So congratulations,
Thank you.
So what can you tell a young Kenyan girl that is trying to do something for themselves, not for their retirement, but to leave an impact, a legacy in this world? What would you advise them?
For me, I would advise them that every day is a learning lesson. And whatever you're doing today, keep your eyes open. Sometimes you never know what your tomorrow looks like. So every time you travel, every time you go to places, learn something new, pay attention, and let that consolidate into new dreams and plans for the future. I wouldn't say like 10 years ago or 20 years ago I knew I would want to start an hotel. But one thing is that I've always wanted to retire by the lake or by the beach side, not the lake specifically. Actually, initially I wanted to retire in Diani, but I love just being at the beach, being around water. But my thoughts were about retirement home as a private home, not as a business. So I'm glad, because I consider myself retired in my legal profession, because for the last 2 years I'm not actively practicing or doing any career that is related to legal. So this is like my phase 2 of my life now, post-retirement business. But I like that I'm doing it in the environment that I always envisioned myself. And it's a very relaxing place. When you stay in a place like this, you don't feel like you want to go back to the hustle and bustle of Nairobi city, or airports or traveling or anything like that. It's very calm, it's very relaxing.
Right.
And I was lucky to get a property that has one of the best views in this place.
Right.
With mountains on one side, the lake on the other side. You can be able to see all the major Lake Victoria Islands from our garden. That is Takawiri, Mfangano and Rusinga.
Right.
We have the most amazing sunsets. Wow. And to crown it all, we are actually putting up a second property in Takawiri Island.
When is that going to be open?
We are targeting November, God willing, definitely by December.
Wow, and it's also going to be Victoria Sands Lodge?
Yeah, Takawiri Victoria Sands.
Wow, wow. You are a visionary,
Thank you.
We won't be surprised if we find other Victoria Sands Lodge in Kisumu and all along Lake Victoria, and even in Tanzania and in Uganda,
Definitely. Everything is supposed to grow. So
yes. Wow. Now, I want you to talk to our friends in the diaspora, Kenyans, Nigerians, Jamaicans, Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Cubans. Talk to them why it's important for them to visit the motherland, and share with them how they can learn more about Victoria Sands Lodge. Like, what are the social media handles that they can go to in order for them to learn more, and in order for them to book their time to enjoy this beauty. And remember that there is the One Vibe experience that is a platform I've been building over the last 7 years. I've been bringing people, particularly from the US to Kenya. And so for everybody that is a part of the One Vibe Africa community and the One Vibe experience trips, this is going to be one of our special stops. My hope is to do retreats here, but really I want you to learn from Lynn how you can stay engaged, how you can book your time here. And then Lynn, also share with us anything else I didn't ask you that you want the people who are viewing to learn.
Okay, so Victoria Sands Lodge, we are in all major platforms. On Facebook, the Facebook page name is Victoria Sands Lodge. We have a website, again, www.victoriasandslodge.com. We are on booking.com. We are on Airbnb. So we are on Instagram also as Victoria Sands Lodge Beta. So you would be able to find us in all those platforms. You can be able to book online through booking.com or Airbnb. Or you can also be able to book directly with us on our website. Our phone numbers and our email is there. And
wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you all for listening and thank you all for watching. My name is Simon Javan Okelo and I've been having a conversation with the amazing Lynn Nzisa. So Lynn has shared with us her story. She shared with us an African proverb, and shared with us her interpretation of this proverb. She also shared with us her story, what inspired her to do what she does now and to be such an amazing leader that she is. And also she shared with us why she started Kilimani Moms and many other stories. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel that you're watching. Remember to like it and share it. And really remember to take good care of yourselves. I will see you soon. Peace and love.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African father in